Picture this. You're late to a crucial appointment. As you rush out the door, you find your car buried under a pile of snow. Your heart sinks. Frustration mounts. Isn't it just typical? Now, whose bright idea was it to park outside last night? It's so easy to fall into the blame game. We all do it. It keeps our egos intact and our self-image polished. Did you know that a study found that 75% of people admit to blaming others to protect their self-image? It's a defense mechanism we all use, often without even realizing it. Blaming is like those snow-covered cars, layer upon layer. It builds up until we can't see what's beneath. We protect ourselves from immediate stress at the cost of long-term problem-solving and personal growth. But here's the flip side. What happens when we scrape off that snow ourselves, take ownership, and drive forward? That's what we're diving into today. We're going to uncover why we're so quick to blame, the price we pay for it, and how changing our response can not just change our day, but can fundamentally change our lives. So buckle up, grab your snow shovel, and let's dig in. This journey might just be the game changer you've been looking for. Let's dive deeper into what drives our impulse to point fingers. It's not just about externalizing problems. It's about shielding ourselves from discomfort and maintaining control over our self-perception. Blaming others is often our brain's shortcut to avoid the discomfort of self-criticism. It's easier to project fault outward than to introspect and acknowledge our own flaws. I remember a time when I blamed my colleague for a project delay, only to realize later it was my lack of communication that contributed to the issue. This tendency is tied to a common psychological behavior known as the fundamental attribution error, where we attribute others' actions to their character, but our actions to our circumstances. Imagine you're working on a group project and the outcome is disappointing. It's straightforward to say, if only the team had worked harder, rather than recognizing that perhaps unclear guidance or your own lapses in leadership contributed to the shortcomings. Or consider a domestic scenario where it's easier to blame a partner for a mess at home, rather than acknowledge your part in the ongoing issue, like not setting clear household expectations. Continuously blaming others inhibits personal growth by preventing us from learning from our mistakes. It also creates a cycle of defensiveness and missed opportunities for improvement. Professionally, this behavior can lead to a stagnant career. Personally, it strains relationships, breeds resentment, and erodes trust. I once had a friend who constantly blamed others for their problems, and over time it became difficult to maintain our relationship. By shifting from blame to accountability, we can improve our relationships, enhance personal growth, and foster a healthier environment both at work and home. Accountability empowers us to take control of our lives and make positive changes. Understanding the dynamics of the blame instinct and its repercussions helps us recognize how it limits us and provides a clear path to overcoming it. Continuing from our exploration of why we blame, let's delve into the profound impact it has on our lives. Blaming others may offer a momentary escape from discomfort, but it significantly hampers our ability to grow and learn from our experiences. I once missed a critical project deadline and blamed my team, only to realize later that my own lack of clear instructions was the real issue. The impact of blame extends beyond the self. It can corrode the very foundations of our relationships, turning trust into suspicion and respect into resentment. For example, if a manager consistently blames their team for missed deadlines without recognizing their own poor planning, they miss out on improving their leadership and organizational skills. Over time, this not only stifles their growth, but also demoralizes the team. Blame can quickly become a vicious cycle, particularly in high-pressure environments where stress levels are high and accountability is low. In personal relationships, blame can create a toxic atmosphere where partners or family members feel constantly judged and undervalued, leading to emotional distance and a breakdown in communication. Breaking free from the cycle of blame requires conscious effort and self-awareness. It takes courage to face our own shortcomings, but the rewards of personal growth and stronger relationships are well worth it. I remember a time when constant blame at work created a toxic environment. It wasn't until we started taking responsibility for our own roles that we saw a real improvement in team dynamics and productivity. Blame is like a weed in a garden. It grows quickly and can choke out the healthy plants if not addressed. By pulling out the weeds of blame, we allow the flowers of accountability and growth to flourish. By shifting our focus from blaming others to exploring our own roles in various scenarios, we can break the chains of stagnation, restore our relationships, and escape the destructive cycle of blame. This not only leads to personal and professional growth, but also builds a foundation for healthier and more supportive interactions with others. Understanding these high costs of blaming others is crucial as we navigate our journeys towards becoming more accountable and empowered individuals. It's about changing our default settings from blame to introspection and responsibility, a shift that promises significant rewards for our personal integrity and interpersonal relations. Moving beyond the pitfalls of blame, let's dive into the challenge and profound strength of taking responsibility. This transition, though challenging, is transformative, offering a path to genuine empowerment and sustained personal growth. Taking responsibility is inherently challenging because it requires confronting personal flaws and enduring the discomfort of vulnerability. I remember a time when I had to admit a mistake to a friend, and the vulnerability felt daunting, but it ultimately strengthened our relationship. This step is tough because it not only involves acknowledging our errors, but also exposes us to potential criticism, which can be difficult to accept. However, by owning our actions and their outcomes, we regain control over our lives. This sense of control is empowering and allows us to positively influence future scenarios. For instance, a project leader who acknowledges their part in a project's failure can learn from these missteps and apply this knowledge to future endeavors, thereby avoiding past mistakes and leading their team to success. To start taking responsibility in daily life, consider these actionable steps. Reflect daily. Spend a few minutes each day reflecting on your actions. Ask yourself what went well and what could have been handled differently. This practice helps build self-awareness and promotes continuous improvement. It can lead to significant personal growth over time. Seek feedback. Regularly ask for feedback from friends, family, and colleagues. Understanding how your actions affect others can guide you in making more responsible choices. This feedback is invaluable as it provides different perspectives on your behavior and its impacts. Embrace mistakes as learning opportunities. Shift your mindset to see mistakes not as failures, but as opportunities to learn and grow. I once turned a project's failure into a learning experience by analyzing what went wrong and applying those lessons to future projects. This approach not only mitigates the sting of failure, but also enriches your professional and personal life. Taking responsibility is like steering a ship. You can't control the sea, but you can navigate your course by making conscious choices. The journey from blame to responsibility not only enhances personal integrity, but also builds stronger, more resilient relationships. It requires courage to face our own shortcomings, but the rewards, personal growth, improved relationships, and a better work environment are well worth it. Building on our understanding of responsibility and its benefits, let's delve into transformative stories of individuals whose lives dramatically improved by embracing this virtue. These narratives not only demonstrate the impact of responsibility, but also inspire us to reflect on and change our own behaviors. Consider the story of Michael, a corporate executive facing significant challenges as his department was underperforming. Initially, Michael resorted to blaming external factors for his team's lack of success. However, during a performance review, his superior challenged him to take full responsibility for his department's outcomes. Michael took this feedback to heart, acknowledged his own leadership shortcomings, and sought coaching to improve. He also fostered a culture of accountability within his team, encouraging open communication and learning from mistakes rather than hiding them. Over time, sales increased, team morale improved, and Michael received recognition for his leadership transformation, proving the power of responsibility. Another powerful example is Sarah, a single mother struggling to connect with her teenage daughter, Emily, who was exhibiting behavioral issues and growing increasingly distant. After attending a parenting workshop, Sarah realized she might be part of the problem and decided to take responsibility for her part in their strained relationship. She began to spend more quality time with Emily, listening to her concerns without judgment. The increased understanding and trust led to significant improvements in Emily's behavior, both at home and at school, showing that consistent effort in taking responsibility can yield positive changes. These narratives inspire us to reflect on our behaviors and challenge us to consider where we might be blaming others instead of taking responsibility. I once faced a challenging situation at work where I initially blamed others for the lack of progress. It wasn't until I took responsibility and sought feedback that we saw real improvement. Taking responsibility is like planting a seed. It requires effort and care, but with time it grows into something strong and fruitful. Each story here teaches us that by embracing responsibility, we can profoundly influence our personal lives and the lives of those around us. Whether it's in a corporate setting or within our own families, the courage to own our actions and learn from them can lead to remarkable transformations. Now, I challenge you to take a moment and identify an area of your life where you've been placing blame. It could be something small, like blaming traffic for your lateness, or something significant, such as conflicts in relationships or challenges at work. What steps can you take to change the narrative and influence the outcome positively? Embrace this challenge as an opportunity to grow, enhance your relationships, and lead a more fulfilling life. Remember, taking responsibility is not just about admitting fault. It's about claiming the power to shape your future and foster a positive impact around you. Reflecting on my own experiences, I remember a time when taking responsibility for a failed project led to significant growth and better outcomes in the future. Step into the role of the protagonist in your life story, not a bystander. Own your future and watch as your world transforms. As the famous saying goes, the best way to predict the future is to create it. By taking responsibility, you hold the power to shape your destiny. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Here's to a more responsible and enriching life ahead. Embrace responsibility and see how it transforms your world.